What's up, everybody? Welcome back. And I'm excited, man. I've been working on a few things. I've had some things in the mix that I've been kicking around ideas and kicking around thoughts of what I wanted to do. And I had this idea to put together a podcast with Raiders rivals, and not only Raiders rivals, but rivals across the league, across sports. There's so many stories. There's so many things out there that we don't know the full story. And there's so many accounts that need to be let out. There's so many stories that need to be told. And who better to tell the stories than the people that were involved, the people that were there, or the people that were close to those involved, family members, people that, we talk about Ohio State and Michigan rivalries, people that were close to that rivalry, people that heard the stories passed down from generation to generation. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take this time on my podcast, take this time on the show to get into it and talk about what it is, this rivalry. Because as Raider fans, we look at it, we got a lot of rivals. Every team circles the Raiders on their calendar, whether the Raiders are good or bad, because that atmosphere of the Raider game is different. We have in the AFC West one of the best rivalries in all sports, and not just with the Raiders Chiefs, not just with the Raiders Chargers, not just with the Raiders Broncos, but with the Chiefs and Broncos, with Chargers and Chiefs. There's so many stories out there that I want to get out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with one today and bring in my guest, somebody who played for the San Diego Chargers during their heyday, during the time where LaDainian Tomlinson was a human cheat code, when their defense was stopping people left and right, and when Phillip Rivers was dadgumming you all up and down the sidelines, when the Raiders-Chargers rivalry was fun, more for them because obviously they were beating us, but I wanted to bring that back. And in bringing that back, first thing I want to do is bring back the clip from last season from one of my shows, one of my favorite parts of my show. I bring it out for the AFC West rivals, and it's the I Hate Y'all. So go ahead and listen to this. Let me just leave you guys with this. Chargers fans, I hate y'all. All four of y'all. There used to be more, but Phillip Rivers took his 5,000 kids to Indianapolis, so they became Colts fans. Some of you guys got left in San Diego. But come on, man, you guys are a team out there wearing powder blue and piss-stained pants. Your social media team's out there making pictures of Pop-Tarts, claiming that that's what football teams look like. Giving away ice coolers for celebrations of games that you lost. I mean, come on, dude. Even your number one receiver has been seen in a Raider hat drinking In-N-Out. Yeah, you're welcome for Lance Allworth. You're welcome for Al Davis helping your franchise a little bit, but at the end of the day, we've owned you guys. We've overrun your stadium. We've run over your team. So Charger fans, while you guys are crying under your fake profiles on Twitter, spamming my comment section, do me a favor. Go look at your trophy case because it's as empty as your stands. I hate y'all. All right, y'all, I'm fired up. I am fired up. The I Hate Y'all got me fired up. But really what's got me fired up is this next guest that I'm bringing on. It's somebody who I've been talking to for a long time. Somebody who I've been, was one of the first thoughts of, who was a guy that just wrecked the Raiders for a long time. And I'm going to bring on a guy who goes by the moniker Lights Out. You might know him from Lights Out Extreme MMA. You may know him from the San Diego Chargers. But when I come back, I'm going to have my guest, Shawne Lights Out Merriman. All right, everybody, welcome back. I have with me 2005 Defensive Rookie of the Year, 2006 NFL Sacks Leader, host of the Lights Out podcast, owner of Lights Out Extreme Fighting MMA Promotions, and member of the Bolt Up family, Shawne Lights Out Merriman. What is up, my dude?
Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My listeners right now are probably sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? I got a Charger on here. We're not supposed to be talking, but I want to try a little something different. So, we talked about this. We talked about doing a Rivals podcast and talking about the atmosphere. And we know Raider Nation is nuts. But what's it like being on the other side?
So this is my thing, right? Before you get to the NFL, like you have your favorite players in all 32 teams, right? You're like, I like this guy, I like that guy, like, whatever, right? So Howie Long was one of my favorite players. Romanowski, I love, his whatever style you want to call it. I love his, his game. Bo Jackson. I mean, the list goes on, right? Tim Brown was one of my favorite players and a friend of mine. And so that's your perception before you get to the NFL. And then what happens is you get drafted, right? Like I did in 2005 by Marty Schottenheimer. And what Marty did was he instilled in us to hate the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like it like that hate that. And I would, yeah, it's a hate.
No,
But
it's hate. It's a hatred.
It's a hate. Yeah, no, for sure it's hate. But it's that wasn't there until you understood the culture and the rivalry. So I didn't know that before. So you got there, you like, oh, okay, cool, division game. Cool. We played the Broncos, it's division game, doesn't matter. Nah, with Marty Schottenheimer, it was Raiders week, right? So my whole mentality changed. Like, practice was faster. We were hitting a lot harder. Guys was just, the mentality was different that week.
Yeah.
And so that's how everything started. Like, you just had to, and when you played the Raiders, you had to take your game up another notch, because Marty Schottenheimer, for me at least, and us, he like instilled that part in that whole Raider hate thing.
Yeah, Marty came from, a long line of being a Raider hater. He was a Chiefs before. And so, he was just sitting in that division for years, just stewing over that hate. But, you played on some teams that, let's be face it. Let's be real. They dominated us. You had LaDainian, you had Phillip, you had yourself. You had some guys out there that were, just killers out there. Who was your favorite teammate that you played with back then?
Man, to be honest, we had such a close-knit team. And honestly, it wasn't really because we were just winning. I mean, we just really, behind the scenes, we had a close group. And normally on teams, you'll have like the DBs, the defensive backs hanging with the defensive backs, linebackers hanging with linemen, linemen hanging with. So you would have that. No, man, we were like, you might have half group of linemen at the lunch table or dinner table, whatever it was, half linebackers, half cornerbacks. And we had that type of team. Phillip Rivers would just come and sit between the linebackers and, in our meeting room and our lunch table, whatever it was, because we were so close. And I think that ultimately for us, that's what helped us be as great as we was during that time period, because everybody held each other accountable. It was like, you couldn't even dog it in practice without somebody getting on you. Like, practices was like, man, you got to go against one-on-one and Antonio Gates and Marcus McNeil. And if you dog it or you're not running fast to the ball, if the ball on the opposite side of the field, you might hear LT or somebody else, not even somebody from the defense side of the ball. You might hear an offensive lineman is sitting on the sideline screaming like, yo, run to the ball. And I think that's kind of why our teams were the way they were at that time.
That culture. We talk about Phillip Rivers sitting between linebackers, and I've heard from a lot of players around the league that Phillip talks the most trash out of anybody that they've ever played against. But dude doesn't cuss. So what's that like? What's his trash talk like?
So take it back. So I went to University of Maryland, and Phillip went to NC State. So I hated dude. I hated Phillip. Like, when I was in college, we were both in ACC. I hated Phillip Rivers, because even though when you're watching the film, you can't see what he's saying, you always see his head doing this. You always know back and forth. And you're like, man, we play that dude, I'm gonna crush him. And then you get on the field and you play against him, and he's yelling and screaming, and he's kind of, trolling you or doing whatever, but he's not cussing. And I'm like, and I never picked up on it during the game, because your temper's going and you're locked in, until my rookie year when I got in. And I realized, I was like, this dude he never cusses. And so I had to get used to that, because, I'll go back and forth with anybody, but, sometimes you drop the F-bomb, sometimes you drop, but you would never get that in return. So it was weird initially, but you kind of, after a while, not only appreciated it, but you like respected it. Like, this dude can get under your skin without even cursing. That was good.
Man. So, you talk about going back and forth with it, going at it. I know that you've had some good run-ins with the Raiders. What was your favorite part about that rivalry?
My rookie year, we were playing them, and I think it was my rookie. Yeah, I think it was my rookie year. And I think Curry Collins was a quarterback then, right? Was it right? Curry Collins, yeah. 2005.
2005.
And I hit Curry Collins' big hit. I think he had just threw the ball, so it was a quarterback hit. And I got up and I was talking trash and I was screaming. And I got to the sidelines, and I'll never forget. We were playing at the black hole, and somebody from the first or second row threw not one of those square batteries on the field. I mean, this dude, you thought like Rich Gannon was out there, the way the accuracy this dude whoever had. And that battery hit me right in the back of my dome. Luckily, I still had on my helmet,
Yeah.
but my head was ringing, and I had that little in my head for like almost a half a quarter.
Oh,
And at that point, I was like, okay, yeah, we're in a different kind of place.
yeah.
And it's for me, it was everything that you growing up that you would hope that the NFL would be, right? You're getting into a hostile stadium, hostile fans. You know, the field was terrible. So you had to, you
Yeah.
slide too much on that dirt, you leave and all your elbow skin is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So it was the welcoming moment for me. That was really it. I mean, I played against some other guys before, some other teams, but it was playing there, realizing the true hatred and the true fan base that the Raiders had. I was like, okay, this is a different ball game.
Yeah, and you have a lot of fun with the fan base. I know that you troll a lot on social media. It's your fun follow, and we go back and forth at it a lot. And I think that the most recent one you were talking about, you're coming back to give a sack for every Charger fan. And I made a joke about 4, and now obviously there's more than 4 Chargers fans. You guys have like 8. But what was it? What was it like for the Charger Nation, or not Charger Nation, but Charger fan base going from San Diego to Los Angeles? Like, what are you seeing from the fans?
Well, it was, for one, man, it was a lot of and two, I wanted them initially to stay in San Diego. I mean,
Yeah,
I was there, I was an advocate for it. And I thought that if it could have worked out, it would have been a great situation if it could have worked out. Now,
yeah,
the business side of me is saying, hey, you guys got to do what you got to do, because um, nobody's going to come out of pocket $300-400 million or whatever, whatever the case is. So
right.
I understood the move. Like I wanted the team to stay, but you got you take a team that is really kind of loved in San Diego, right? I mean, it's San Diego's team, and you move into LA. And I think the biggest problem with that is that there a lot of San Diego people from San Diego don't like LA people, period.
Yeah,
So they could have moved to Orange County, they could have moved to Oceanside, they could have moved to Irvine, they could have moved anywhere, and I think they would have been fine. But I think because the people in San Diego don't like LA people as much, that's where the whole like, oh, we're never supporting them again, right? That's where that part came in. But let's be real, winning cures all, right? So
yeah.
when you start to win football games, the fans gonna come back around, but they need something to cheer for, because you're not, because of what happened, they're not going to be so much to go out and support. You got to go win football games.
No doubt. And I think that you guys have the AFC West is getting back to where, it used to be. You got the Chiefs that are riding high on top. The Raiders are, they're a defense away, really. The Chargers, you guys have put together a pretty solid roster, especially with young quarterback Justin Herbert. And then the Broncos are, well, I mean, they're the Broncos. And so, we look at, around the league, but what was who was the guy that you faced on the Raiders that just talked the most trash? Like, just somebody that maybe got in your head a little too much?
I wouldn't say got in my head, but I think that it was nobody that was a big talker, because I was, a close friend of mine was like Kurt Morrison, so I was like
Yeah,
always talking to Kurt during the week. I talked to a lot of guys during the week, leading up to Joey Porter at the I'm sorry, Jerry Porter
Jerry.
at the time of wide receiver. So I knew a bunch of guys on the team who actually I was really close with. So the chatter for that happened all week long. It wasn't even in the game. It was like the
Right.
text messages like 9 o'clock at night, like, well, we about to kick y'all ass, right? It was
Yeah.
those that got me. I said, dude, let me tell you something. I'm pulling 2 sacks off right now. Broke Achilles, knee, all that. I'm getting 2 sacks, period. And
Yeah.
so I wouldn't necessarily say it was one person. It was more, man. It was the fans. It was the fans who, because it wasn't the players. We knew at that time our team was so dominant. We knew we was coming up there and we were wrecking shop. But I think more so because of the fan base and how strong the fan base was. You see it on, at the time, like Twitter and Instagram, all that stuff started to just come around, and you see how
Yeah.
strong the fan base was. You see the media and all this stuff. So you felt it coming into the stadium, the screaming and throwing stuff at the bus. And so it was the fans who got me to that like level where I was like, I gotta go out and do something spectacular against these dudes,
Yeah.
not necessarily the players.
Yeah, the fans, a lot of fans don't realize that players talk, and just because a team hates each other, players are still friends. You know, I remember I went out one time in San Diego and I ran into Antonio Gates, and he was like, "Oh," I told him who my dad was. And he was like, "Oh man, you know, come sit down. I love that history and stuff." And so, the fans are crazy about it. But pivoting from that, we talked a lot about the rivalry and everything, but you got a lot going on right now. What are you working on right now that you're most excited about?
It's lights out extreme fighting, man.
Yeah,
I got into MMA about almost 15 years ago now, and I was just doing it a little bit during the off season. I was told it was going to help my hand-eye coordination and endurance and flexibility and opening my hips and with kicks and rolling on the ground, balance. Being a good anchor. So I just did it for football initially, and I came out and had a great year in 2007 after doing it. 2006 after doing it between 2005 and 2006 after my rookie year. So fast forward, 15 years later, man, 16 years later, now I have Lights Out Extreme Fighting that's on Fox Sports West, and Prime Ticket. So, it shows up here in Vegas. So all the, the Raider fans who in between, who don't fully hate me completely can watch us on, on Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket, which shows up here in Vegas. But look, it's something that, I've been so passionate about because and I've been saying this for the last, since I retired. I feel that all athletes, and no matter which sport you are, should pick up some kind of combat sport. And I'm not saying to fight. I'm not saying
yeah,
to go out and have some big matches or go in and knock each other heads off. But I think they should pick up a discipline. But because for me, when I retired, that competition was gone,
yeah,
and I'm so used to being aggressive and if I'm having a bad day, good day, whatever it is, and having that place where I can go and compete, learn, feel good about what I just did, and move on, right? And
yeah,
so I try to encourage a lot of guys, especially former athletes, that pick up some boxing, pick up some, gradually do some Muay Thai and some grappling, do some jujitsu, pick that up. And you guys, I mean, hell, it was some players back in the Raiders day, man, who actually I think they can go really. I know a few guys that I were friends with actually got into the sport quite a bit.
yeah. Marquette King has recently gotten into it, right?
Yeah, he did. I was actually he's supposed to shoot on my show that I got coming out about athletes transitioning, and his ass
Yeah.
flaked on me, so it's all good. But that's just what y'all Raiders do, man. Y'all flickers.
Oh,
Um,
come on, man.
but no, I'm glad because a guy
Yeah,
like him who has a great personality. He is is a character on and off the field, and then
yeah,
he picks up something that's going to at least fill the void for this short period of time to get into, so you stay disciplined.
yeah. And I bring Marquette King up because he did famously mock your dance, and look, I'm all for dance mocking, but even that, it was bad. He didn't do it well. It was about as good as when Travis Kelce tried to do the Bronco dance. But what were your feelings on that?
So I was traveling and I was in a hotel and I wasn't watching the game. I actually fell asleep. I took a nap and I woke up and my phone was it was just going off. And I look up and then I was trending on Twitter and I was like, hold on, what what's going on? I was like, I'm in my room, I'm working, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And
Yeah,
I look on Twitter and sure enough, he's doing it. And I'm like, wow. So initially I'm like, really? I posted them and I was talking shit or whatever.
yeah,
But it's look at the end of the day, it's always a form of flattery depending on who does it.
right,
And I think for me, I didn't take much offense to it because it was a punter. It was, what I'm saying? It was like he has kind of like that personality where it's kind of
right,
fun, right? It
right.
wasn't like, one of y'all guys just got a big sack, had laid on Phillip and got up and did the lights out dance. And I was like, oh, okay, really? You would take that a little bit more
Yeah,
personal, a little bit more
yeah,
personal. But when he did it, man, I was probably heated for 2 minutes, and then after that, I was like, oh, it's Marquette King, man. That's you got
yeah.
to give him a pass.
You can't be too mad. The man punted a Chucky doll in front of the Raiders headquarters, so
Right,
so yeah. So
right.
I mean, it comes with the territory. But Shawne, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Love to have you back on the show. But where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, they can find me at Shawne Merriman on Twitter and Instagram, and then Lights Out Extreme Fighting, Lights Out XF on Instagram and Twitter. And go to lightsoutxf.com to look at our dates coming up. I do believe we got a fight in Vegas sometime in the fall. We're going to announce the date and the location probably here in the next 30 or 60 days.
Well, there you have it. So make sure you guys follow him. Make sure you check out Lights Out Extreme. And Shawne, thanks again, man. Hope you have a great week.
Anytime, man. Anytime one of you Raiders fans want to come on here and get it, look, open the mic up. I'll come on here and let you guys open the mic up, period. And I will love that. And I'm going to keep trolling y'all as long as I'm walking this earth because it's fun. They got, look, y'all got a great fan base. And it's not, when I go and talk about or two other fan bases, you might got a couple guys, 5 or 10 to know. But when I talk about the Raiders fan base or the Raiders, I'm getting 50, 100 people at a time, hundreds of people a day. And I love it. Keep it going. Raiders always suck in my book, and we'll keep it going.
All right. Thank you, and go Raiders.
Yeah.
King, real talk.